Welcome, Generals, to a particularly melancholy episode of Community BattleCast PrimeTime. The news for this episode will largely be revolving around the cancellation of Command & Conquer and the closure of Victory Games. On October 29th, the news broke with an official announcement on the Command & Conquer website, stating that your feedback from the alpha trial is clear. We are not making the game you want to play. That is why, after much difficult deliberation, we have decided to cease production of this version of the game. Now, initially, this statement seemed a bit odd, as there's no mention of the fact that the entire studio was laid off. This is also still the only official announcement that was made in relation to the cancellation. However, an additional post was made on the EA Help Forum in regard to the Ultimate Collection owners who had been guaranteed early access. According to the Help post, development will continue under a new studio. However, we don't actually know what that statement means. Will the new studio be established soon? Will they continue development on Command & Conquer from the latest patch, or are they going back to the drawing board? Does the guy who wrote that answer actually have the inside scoop on CNC development, or was he told to write something that would placate angry customers? Ultimately, there's no solid answer to these questions, but of course there's tons of rumors swirling about the state of the franchise, and interestingly enough, the alpha servers were actually online and playable for quite some time after Victory Games had been shut down. Until quite recently, when there was a post made in the Command & Conquer forums, stating that the servers would be shut down quite soon. The post was made by an account named Chris Mansell, and at the end he does say, "See you soon, the Command & Conquer team." And again, we don't actually know if this means that there is a team in place to continue developing Command & Conquer, or if this is a skeleton crew to make sure that the website, Facebook, and Twitter pages all keep running. Some people have suggested that the reason why the alpha was still live and playable after the studio got shut down is because that everyone who knew all of the details of the servers was fired, and as a result, whoever is just above the studio probably didn't know enough about the servers to get them immediately shut down. In summary, another Command & Conquer game got canned, the studio completely shut down, and we still don't know the long-term fate of CNC. Now we're going to briefly review some of the shutdown details that come from staff who will remain anonymous, and of course this information will never be publicly confirmed. It's also technically possible that these could be lies, but that's highly unlikely. First is that the shutdown was not due to alpha feedback, but rather upper-level EA politics. Almost no one on the dev team knew that the shutdown was coming before it was announced to them. It came out of nowhere, and so much so that people were still working on bugs and the patch that was due to be released on the week of the 28th. The official cancellation article was not actually written by the team member usually responsible for such things. It was pre-written by upper-level staff. Additionally, the choice to go free-to-play was not what the team wanted originally. It was a reactionary move to the alternative of the game being cancelled. The options choice was cancel the game and likely lay off the entire studio, or go free-to-play and only lay off part of the studio. Key team members fought for the project, and so it was not cancelled, it was turned free-to-play. However, we will never know the full story of the Victory Games shutdown. Only a few people on Earth actually have all of those details, and they really have no reason to publicly share that information. The last category that we're going to go through is purely rumor and speculation. This information, of course, comes from a variety of sources, and it's basically just outside conjecture of things that could have happened. Some people have thought that the reason behind the cancellation has to do with the dev team missing deadlines. And while the devs always insisted that they didn't have hard deadlines, it seems that they may have. It's possible that they were told to go into beta, and when the devs stated that the game wasn't ready, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Like I already said, we don't know if it's actually what happened behind the scenes. We do want to highlight it as a possibility, but very few people actually know all of these details. Of course, our condolences to the talented and hardworking team of developers who spent years on CNC, and in the end, many of them were simply unemployed. We at CBCPT wish you all the best in your futures, and hope that you quickly find success at other companies. I suppose the best way to follow up that mountain of depression is by sharing the incredible news that renegade-x, the standalone multiplayer, finally has a release date of February 26th, 2014. renegade-x is something that I have been personally looking forward to for many years. I know most of the CNC community is looking forward to experiencing the game that the Totem Arts team has been crafting over the years. Every update from the team seems to be more awesome than the last, and this is definitely the most awesome update they've put out. So you can bet we'll be bringing more coverage of renegade-x once we get closer to the launch of this monumental fan project. Now, to balance good with the kind of bad news that CNC LEGO's series finale was launched. That's right, the saga has concluded, and it's due to the talents and hard work of Z Hypnotist that we have that series to enjoy. So even though it's over, go ahead and give that final episode a watch, although I'm sure many of you already have. And of course, leave your questions for Z's Q&A. In more awesome and exciting news, CNCnet 5 has been released. Now, CNCnet is a service that provides a modern network for you to play CNC games on without as much trouble as the original net framework caused. CNCnet 5 currently only supports Tib Dawn, Red Alert, and Tiberian Sun, but they're looking to add Red Alert 2 coverage in the near future. But for now, if you want to play Red Alert 2 using CNCnet, you'll have to stick with version 4. And of course, be sure to hit up their website to download, donate, or help develop if you're so inclined. And our last news story is that CNC has recently redesigned their website. Go ahead and give it a look, it's looking fantastic, and if you find yourself getting a little bit lost, be sure to check out their layout guide and site features list so you know exactly where everything is.
And now it's time for the mod spotlight. Doomtanker here, bringing you another batch of mods, so let's dig in, commanders. Our first mod in the spotlight is Metal Omega. This incredible mod, now in public beta for version 3.0, has a lot to offer. With new units, factions, and even campaigns, it's a ton of new content. But if you're interested in learning something about it, the team has been releasing sub-faction spotlights in the weeks leading up to the release of the public beta. So if you're interested in any CNC game ever, we strongly recommend you give Metal Omega a shot. I mean, come on, why haven't you played this yet? Zero Hour Enhance is a mod that'll offer visual enhancements to Zero Hour, as well as adding some new units and factions to the game. Based on the demo videos, it seems that this mod will add a nice upgrade to the visuals on Zero Hour, but we'll have to wait for the full release to say for sure. As between the current beta release and the final version, there may be a lot of changes. There will be new units, maps, factions, and apparently new AI, as well as a new campaign for you to play through. There's no release date on it yet, but we'll keep an eye on it in the future. Next up, we've got a mod for Red Alert 3, which enhances the AI, which means everyone who loves the comp stomp may want to give this one a look. Johnny's superior AI, currently in version 1.05, replaces the old RA3 AI and nothing else. There's currently over 100 different AI possibilities for you to choose from, so you'll almost always have something new to fight across all three factions. This mod is definitely worth a look. Now we're going a little bit old school with Dawn of the Tiberium Age, a standalone for Tib Sun that essentially brings Tiberian Dawn to the Tib Sun engine. It's currently in version 1.11, and there's a heap of new maps and other features such as enhanced modes that refine Tib Dawn's balance and add some new elements to the game. So if you like classic action that looks a little bit nicer, you can give Dawn of the Tiberian Age a try. CNC5 Insurrection was going to be a total conversion for Tiberium Wars that would have picked up 500 years after the events of CNC4. The war is between GDI and Cabal and spans all the way to Mars. This mod has recently ceased development, but the premise is still interesting. So if you're interested in picking this up, head over to ModDB page and message Dan5.
Welcome to the BattleCast 3. Our first match is in 0 Hour, and we've got Logica China Infantry versus Rage China Tank on North America. Both players open Command Center South, Barracks, 2 Supply, War Factory. On this small map, it doesn't take long for them to clash, as Logica goes for minigunners and outposts, while Rage adds a bunker and tank hunters for defense. Rage follows up with a dragon tank, and Logica likes the idea so much he produces his own and moves across the map looking to blaze his own trail. Logica tires of beating around the blaze and goes right for Rage's main, with 2 outposts loaded with tank hunters and minigunners. Rage is forced to sell off much of his base. As Logica moves in for the kill, Rage mounts an insane defense. I'm serious, check this out! Rage survives and both players bring Lotus into the action. Logica moves in his Lotus, but Rage manages to reveal and gives chase. Logica can't save his Lotus, and Rage manages to overwhelm Logica's forces in 2 direct engagements. Logica hits Rage's expansion and keeps pushing across the map while Rage is distracted. Both players slam each other and Rage is forced to send a dozer to the bottom of the map where he drops a power plant and a command center. Logica and Rage are beaten to the edges of the map. but Logica finds Rage's base, calls in a paradrop back home to defend while he destroys Rage's final buildings. It's GG, and Logica takes the win. In Kane's Wrath, we have Hydraulic GDI versus Death Sentence Steel Talons on Tournament Savannah. Death Sentence opens up Eco with a fast expansion to his south, while Hydraulic rushes to a rig and rocket APCs. The assault begins and Hydraulic drops several Titans, but he's forced back by the Static D and Steel Talon's might. As Death Sentence gears up for his first assault, Hydraulic long-distance harvests Blue Tib for that Eco advantage. Just after AP ammo finishes, Death Sentence engages. Both players mix units well, but the defender's advantage allows Hydraulic to hold. Death Sentence doesn't care that he's lost his army, because he's established another expansion, teched up to mammoths, and upgraded railguns. And just as Hydraulic rolls up to the middle of the map, he's greeted by railgun mammoths. Merry Christmas! Blam blam, mother tankers! Hydraulic's army is repelled and Death Sentence goes on the offensive, rolling towards Hydraulic with a wall of mammoth tanks. Hydraulic's crazy concave of rocket troopers rain down destruction, crushing tank after tank. Death Sentence retreats as Hydraulic advances, but Death Sentence's Marv rolls up to defend. Hydraulic's army gets split, but his main force manages to break through the front line with the use of EMP grenades. Death Sentence just barely holds on as reinforcing mammoth tanks hold the line, and Hydraulic's mass infantry strat isn't working as well as he wanted, as the hammerheads from Death Sentence clean up the last of Hydraulic's forces. Death Sentence moves out with his high-tech army once again, and as he breaches Hydraulic's base, Hydraulic's Marv comes out to defend. With armies moving in from all sides, nothing can stop Death Sentence, not even losing his Marv. Hydraulic's last power plant signals his death sentence, and he GG's out of this game. Well played to Death Sentence. In Game 3, we have Allied Lichter versus Soviet GBH Michael. Lichter opens up airfield before expansion and gets some cryocopters in the sky to harass while Michael constructs bullfrogs, sickles, and his water expansion. Lichter holds off minor assaults and harassments with the help of his cryocopters, while Michael takes a 5th refinery and gets Akulas out to harass. Michael sinks the 4th expansion of Lichter, but Michael's big engagement is delayed by the cloud of cryocopters Lichter has amassed. Michael builds up once again and moves in to engage, launching bears at the front line of Lichter and rushing MiGs in. Lichter holds the line, but Michael's 5 refinery production is nothing to be scoffed at, and his next attack forces Lichter to tap out. GG! That's your 3 for this episode. And the music which underscored this segment is from the fantastic renegade-x soundtrack, yet another reason to check out renegade-x in the coming months.
And now it's time for community fan art. nodsoldiergirl's out with an injury right now, guys, so I will be taking over the fan art for you this week. First up is the GLA Soldier by Muhammad59. Next up is Kirov's Bad Day by Kirov Airship. Next we have another Kirov by Dimal. And the Kirov of Tomorrow by Project 6. Next, we have a GLA wallpaper and logo design based on off the new GLA, well, the former new GLA design by Dexter371. He also did one for the APA too. Next, we have a Nod Subterranean APC by Helgi129. Next up, we have some pretty interesting concept art for female Nod officers by Macalius. Next, we have this great work of a Tiberium landscape by Cardinal Omega. And next we have a Nod nuclear missile silo. And for a special bonus in the fan art section, since this is Community BattleCast PrimeTime's 2nd anniversary, nodsoldiergirl, before her accident, enlisted the aid of her family members to take some special CNC pictures. This next batch of pictures is actually our contest submissions. First up we have the Biotech General Chimera by Justin Zant. Next we have a series of 0 Hour General posters by Flameiori. And last but not least, we've got the Mammoth Tank by Mr. Taxikiller.
Alright, Commanders, that concludes another episode of CBCPT. Hopefully next time we'll have happier news to bring the community. Remember, if you want to check anything out, the links to everything we talked about are in the description. Feel free to leave your feedback below in the comments or in the forums. And if you'd like to share news, mods, matches, or fan art with the community, just send them our way via nodsoldiergirl's email or my own, nodsoldiergirl@hotmail.com or sybert.replays@gmail.com. For nodsoldiergirl and Doom Tanker, I'm Sybert. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the battlefield.
Next up, we've got a mod for Red Alert 3, which enhances the AI commander. I don't know what the hell I was saying there.